Am I the asshole? For breaking up my nephew's family by helping him go away to university? Throw away for privacy? My sister, 6 years older, passed away 6 years ago, leaving one son, Jeff, 11 at the time, and her husband, Scott. I live in the same city and have always been close with my nephew, as he, like me, is a precocious mathematician and coder. I got along fine with Scott, though he always struck me as a bit of a weak personality and not an intellectual match for my formidable and successful sister. She wore the pants in that marriage. Since her death, I stepped up my time with Jeff and continued to help him pursue enrichment in math. 3 years ago, Scott married Jane, who brought with her 2 daughters now 9 and 11. Later they had a son together now too. It has not gone well for Jeff. Jane dominates Scott and has pushed the blended family hard. Jeff has little in common with his sisters or Jane. I'd guess he's got at least 25 AQ points on anybody in that house. Jane has also pushed him to be involved in her church, much to Jeff's annoyance. My sister was vocally atheist, and Jeff is not into religion either. He spends as much time at my house as he can get away with. You sound like a great uncle and you're doing the right thing here. Jeff's stepmom is expecting him to give up a free world-class education, so he can babysit. WTF? That pretty much sums up how good a parent she is, not very, and how much she's watching out for Jeff, not at all. I don't know what is up with Jeff's parents, but you should stick to your guns. Not the asshole. Scott has been less strident, but has asked me to consider Jane's feelings. And when, if ever, has Jane cared about Jeff's feelings? Scott has failed miserably to protect his son, and his son's inheritance from the devious manipulations of Jane. And Jane has a heck of a lot of nerve, particularly about wanting you to fund her kid's education. I am so glad Jeff has you in his life. Totally not the asshole. Not the asshole. This 18-year-old needs you right now. He doesn't have to decide right now what his relationship looks like with his father, or his father's family. He has time to decide. Right now he needs a relative who can support him and give him a space away from his parent. You would be an asshole to not do what you're doing. Also, this stepmother is not the one. He needs to get away from her and his meek father. Not the asshole. Maybe hire a lawyer for your nephew, because it sounds like his step-mother stole his inheritance. Not the asshole. Jane has also pushed him to be involved in her church. You thought, if you leave, you won't ever bond with your siblings. Don't threaten me with a good time. The family is already broken up. Jeff needs to spread his wings and fly away, far, far away. Good for you for helping. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. It's impossible to say IQ in a sentence and not sound like a pretentious arsehole, but you're a good uncle. Jeff's lucky to have you. Not the asshole. Make sure your nephew has all of his essential documents, keepsakes, and mementos before he leaves, otherwise, he'll never get them back. Not the asshole. Her stepmother stole his house, his inheritance, and now wants to steal his future too. The moment the clock strokes midnight on his birthday, get him out of there. Put security on his social security so nobody can open anything in his name. Where I am from child, inherit part of their parents' estate even if there's a living spouse. If your nephew wants, he can sue for it. I know he doesn't need it since you will be paying for him, but it irks me that she took everything his mother worked for. Not the asshole. I'm willing to bet she just wants to keep Jeff around so she can control him. If he moves out, she loses a great deal of her power. Remind Scott that your sister would be sick to see the wealth she left for her son being used to force him to go to community college, to stay home and babysit his next family. Not the asshole. For all the reasons the other commenters said. But why? I will point out that your preoccupation with intellectual superiority probably does not help your relationships. I'm sure you're hyperbolizing. But IQ is an outdated and stupid way to measure someone's intelligence. So if I were you, I'd cool it with the who's the smartest boy talk and appreciate other types of intelligence. Not the asshole, and thank you for standing up for your nephew. Not the asshole for the specific situation, but bro. You keep talking about IQ like it means something. The family doesn't suck because they aren't smart in ways you respect. They suck because they're trying to squash and diminish your nephew and erase your sister's memory and values. Says some not great things about you as a person that you see it as a problem of mismatched IQ. Not the asshole. I am angry just reading this. Not the asshole. So many people in his position don't have someone like you in their corner. You've given him the chance to be his own person and create his own life. Not the asshole. But you do give off serious asshole vibes with your intellectual superiority complex. I'm also a programmer, so I encounter people with a similar complex quite often. Not the asshole for helping him, but all this talk about how smart you and your nephew are, and how dumb the rest of his family is really paints you as a jerk. Not the asshole pretentious, but not an asshole. Thank goodness, you saved this child from that family. Not the asshole. I'm not sure why you feel IQ points really have any bearing at all, so perhaps you're a bit of an ass, but in this instance Jeff is lucky to have. Do try and let him know there's a lot more to life than a high IQ. His stepmother, though, what a tool. Don't break up my family, says the lady with a hammer in her hand. They are living off your deceased sister in some ways or all, and then tried to control his university pursuits? Not the asshole, and then expected you to pay for others' kids you aren't related to? Again, not the asshole in any way. They sure are. Ash. Not the asshole for paying for his school and helping him get away. You are, however, the asshole for your attitudes toward intelligence and IQ. IQ is unscientific bull that has never been a reliable test of an individual's abilities. And treating people as lesser because they're less interested in math and coding is also bull. You could definitely stand to get your head out of your ass. Not the asshole. Good parents do not make their children's worlds smaller to protect their own ego. You have literally saved this child from a life of misery. Well done you. Not the asshole. Check to see if there was a forced inheritance law or something when she died. Some of the estate might be his. Make sure he gets his important and sentimental things out now.